guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've been absent for a little while. I definitely know that. Last video I posted was of the tour rebuild, so if you watched it, thank you. That video was really good in my opinion. Really like the way it turned out, and actually that fork has been performing really well too, so super excited with that. But today this is my sensor. It's not green anymore. So what happened? Well, I decided to take on the challenge of vinyl wrapping this. So it is a completely removable big sticker for people who aren't familiar with vinyl wrapping. I actually had a small little history in vinyl wrapping with my red car, with the hood and the trunk and the roof. I didn't do the roof, but I did do the hood, and got assistance with the trunk, and then some various pieces I've had some work with over time. So I was like, well, you know what, let's just try it. Took a little bit of time off just to check out the pivots and stuff like that. So yeah, this is it. It's now Palette Gloss Dove Blue is the color. This color is from metrorestyling.com. I'll make sure I link them below. This color, along with the purple that's down here, is also from that website. Every decal, all the graphics were cut with my Cricut here at home. So, I mean, nothing real fancy into those. Pretty much just getting the whitest color I could get and then recutting all the decals. I was able to salvage the frame size stamp that was on the frame as well, so I was just wanting to put that back on there. As you can see, I still have the green Uzi stem from Spank. The stem doesn't match the color or the theme for the rest of the bike, but it does go with the DVO suspension green that they have. I mean, just pretty much perfectly. So I'm gonna keep it for now on. It's not that big of a issue, and actually it's kind of growing on me. So yeah, so it's now wrapped. Hopefully in some of the clips you've seen already, I have shown the up close of it, how glossy and metallic it really is. So yeah, this is the GT now that it is blue. I'm still waiting on fork decals to come in. They were ordered from Slick. They just haven't come in yet. Still waiting on those. They take a couple weeks. So once those are on, I will hopefully have some more pictures of it posted up. But yeah, once this video goes live, I will make sure that this gets posted up on Instagram and stuff. So, but yeah, so let's talk some more about graphic choice, vinyl wrapping process, and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm going to talk some more about the wrapping process in itself. So a lot of people might ask, why didn't you just paint it? And honestly, that probably would have been a better decision at this point. Vinyl wrapping a bike, especially with something with, these hard of corners and stuff like that, is actually really hard. Very time consuming, so it almost would be better just to paint it. But that wasn't, the ease of it wasn't what I was going for. Definitely wanted to challenge myself and see if I could do it. It wasn't all that expensive. It cost me more time than anything. So we were probably about $115 with wrap, the additional little pieces that I needed for the rear, and then I had to buy some white vinyl and some of the tools that I used, like the knifeless tape to make the cuts and stuff like that. So yeah, with a bike that's this complex, it's, like I said, it's very hard. So if you see this bike in person, it's not perfect. I'm not deeming myself as a professional or anything like that, so it's definitely hard. So I did have to do this bike in pieces. So what I mean by that is, from what you see here, basically the frame, I had to take everything step by step. So what you see here, this part here, is one piece. So then you do whatever, I wrap this as one piece, and then you do the same thing on the other side. So what will happen is you actually run knifeless tape along the body lines that are here, and then you also, I ran them down the center just because of the complexity of the curves and stuff. So what would happen is, when you wrap this, you'll wrap it over to your knifeless tape, which is up the center, and then along this as well. So then once you go back to do this top tube part here, this is going to be a piece of vinyl, however so long, that lays on top, and it stretches over the knifeless tape. So that way, when you rip the knifeless tape through, it makes it a nice clean seam right here that you can probably barely see, and I don't think I could even zoom in on it that much, but yeah, that seam is just right here, and it's pretty unnoticeable unless you're really looking for it. I do have the seam is seam sealed or edge sealed with some craft edge sealer, stuff that you use on like just on different crafts and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a couple, like this part right here up in this corner. This is a very hard corner to get vinyl to stay into because it needs to, you know, curve so much. So there is a patch right here. Now a patch is just a very small section of vinyl that you use where it's needed. This one does keep lifting up, which I plan on fixing. I just have not yet. Now as far as the rear chainstay goes, so what I had done is I had actually stripped the bike down completely to the frame. So every part came off, the derailleur came off, the brakes came off, the fork, everything came off. So essentially what would happen is I would end up taking this bearing screw out, and then would also release from the pivots here, and then that would actually give me this as a piece and then this bottom as a piece as well. So I ended up doing it in 3 different pieces pretty much. So I had basically taken the same method I used on the frame for the rear. I just was able to plan out a way to follow the body lines of these different pieces while being able to overlay those curves of the body line, so that way it would create almost a seamless seam, and that seamless seam wouldn't be visible unless you really were looking for it. There was a couple pieces, you know, around these are very hard to get around with vinyl to stretch it, because you don't want to overstretch it or it's going to go back to its original shape. Vinyl does have memory in it, basically. So once you stretch it enough, unless you're putting enough preheat treating it, pretty much, it's not going to stay where it needs to. And I made the mistake doing that because this is actually the first piece that I did. So, you know, right around this this pivot screw isn't perfect, and there's some pieces down at the very back, I'm not sure if you can see all the way back here, that weren't perfect, that I had to go back and basically lay a patch on while seaming it to be seamless and making it look good, so that way you know, there was no water or anything getting into it. And the same thing with, you know, the brakes over here. Those brake posts are very hard to wrap. They're protruding out of the frame that I'm trying to wrap it as a one piece, and then, you know, you can't really stretch it over and around and then to the next one and over around it. It's just, the vinyl's not going to let you do that without it either tearing or too much heat that's going to cause distortion within the color. So it was a lot of planning that went into it, which is why it took me in total about 2.5 weeks, I believe is what it ended up taking me. That's including tearing it down, cleaning everything, putting it back on, re-greasing it, the wrap and everything like that. I also had been waiting on the purple vinyl for quite a long time. It was taking forever. It took about 1.5 weeks just for that. So yeah, other than that, I mean, would I recommend you wrapping your mountain bike frame? No, don't do it. Definitely, if you don't have patience and you really aren't familiar with how vinyl works and the different techniques that you can use to achieve you know, this kind of look, attempt it. By all means, definitely customize your bike, paint it, you know, powder coat it, whatever you can do is great. This was more for challenging myself, and I'm glad personally that I did do it. I've only had it out for a ride once, and you guys will hopefully see that clip after this video goes up of Morningside Park in Roanoke. And the guy that I had rode with said he would have never noticed that it was wrapped. So that actually made me really happy. He thought it was paint and it looked real good. Other than that, nothing has really changed. Yeah, other than the wrap, you know, this down here underneath the shock was probably the most challenging, and then down here by the chain ring where this pivot is for the iDrive or the PathLink system. This was probably the hardest part because on the other side it's recessed so deep into the bike, the vinyl didn't want to sit in there very good. So yeah, it just took some figuring out and some things to do, and you know, I'm pretty sure that it'll come up in the clips of how imperfect it is, but I'm the one who did this. I didn't pay anybody to do it. I know what's wrong. I'm fine with it. It is a mountain bike. I mean, it's gonna get pretty beat up, I'm assuming. I have plenty of vinyl. If I were to wreck this and completely destroy one side, I can redo it with no problem. So yeah, other than, you know, there's a couple spots down here, there's a couple, you know, pieces that want to come up here, and that kind of thing's going to happen, especially with me riding in the dirt and the mud and stuff like that. And that's just where you come in and you fix it. You know, you seam seal, or you put patches wherever they're needed, and that kind of thing. So I'm pretty happy with the bike, the way it's coming along. I was going through kind of a bad headspace there for a little while, so thank you for everybody who has stuck by and checked out the videos and, you know, has spoken to me or brought it to my attention or complimented or whatever it is. It's definitely really appreciated. Things are getting better. I'm wanting to get back into videoing and stuff like that. If you have any questions about vinyl wrapping your frame or any other thing I didn't cover in this video, please let me know. I try and possibly can. I can't wait to start getting out and riding more now that it's getting to be fall and cooler out and stuff like that. I definitely want to hit Bryce one more time this year, so I want to make sure I get that video on video, especially with the new color. And then just, you know, some other rides that I'd like to do. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna be putting pictures up later of the fork decals once they come, and then you know, once some time has passes, I'm gonna do an update. I'm gonna show you guys that, you know, this vinyl is very durable. It will last just as long as paint when it's done right, and you know, I shouldn't have any issues with it other than the couple spots that I've had issues with from my own fault, which I will address and fix at some time. But as of right now, I'm just gonna ride it. I'm gonna have fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. The color is super nice in the sun. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated. Again, thank you for watching. Get out there and have a good time, and we'll see you later. See you guys.